Okay, so it's time to get into Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. As the time I am recording this, I am more than halfway done with my rewatch. I'm already about 30-something episodes in, but really want to go over the beginning of the season. So, Season 2 is definitely very difficult to look at as a whole because so much happens throughout the season. I would say, though, it's frustrating for me to rank because personally, that first quarter, or really that first half, really the first 20 episodes, is some of my favorite Mighty Morphin there is. So, I do think Season 2, that initial 20 episodes before the original cast gets fired for red, black, and yellow, right? Before that, those first 20 episodes are probably some of my, if not my favorite, batch of episodes of the whole show, and definitely has some of the best episodes there, which would be the Missing Green episode. That is definitely, I would say, possibly the best episode of the show, just for a single one-off episode. It's not a multi-parter or anything. But just for Jason as a character, for the Red Ranger, just showing why he's the leader and all of that. It's always a standout episode for me. And then, if you're more of a Tommy fan, White Light Part 1 and Part 2. And again, being a Jason and Tommy fan, it's hard to choose between the two, as I always say. But you got those episodes right there. And you have still some good Jew 2 footage for the first quarter of the season. I think first 13 episodes. So there's still a lot of good Sentai Japanese footage to go through. The Thunder Megazord is awesome. I mean, I have the one right here from 2015, 2016 or whatever. Sometime around then. But I really enjoyed the Thunder Megazord. I still enjoy the Dino Megazord, but I think this is a great step up, a great addition, since it is kind of taking the Dino Megazord and upgrading it within the show. You get the full Power Rangers theme song this season. So when the Thunder Megazord combines, it's a long sequence where they take footage from the full morph from Season 1 with the Green Ranger finally joining the team as they call upon the Zords. So it's a long sequence, but with that song, it does hype me up every time. So that's a fun thing to enjoy. Lord Zed is a step up over Rita. Cool design, cool voice. It's funny just thinking about how he'll later be toned down in his personality when he marries Rita. And that's what I'm more familiar with as a kid. Definitely those batch of episodes, those later ones. Because, yeah, he is more serious in the beginning of the show. You know, it's still Power Rangers, and he comes up with his evil plan, and by the end of the episode, he typically fails. Besides the beginning of the season when he's going after Tommy specifically, as he's slowly chipping away at Tommy's powers. So that made him more of a legitimate threat, how he kept targeting Tommy in just about every episode for that first batch, which is just funny how he's like, oh, I'm going after Tommy, going after Tommy, going after Tommy. But yeah, with that, there is a little bit of an actual story in the beginning of the season with Tommy losing his powers. Then you get the additional arc of him becoming the White Ranger. And then shortly after, you have Jason, Zach, and Trini's, actors being fired. So then you go into the introduction of Rocky, Adam, and Aisha into the Peace Conference, which is its own little mini arc. So really, yeah, the first 28 episodes, a little bit over the first half, all have a little story arc that goes from Green Ranger losing his powers to introducing Tommy as White to introducing the new batch of characters. So it is a season with some actual progression, more so than season 1, which is very much more episodic, besides the stuff with Tommy and introducing Titanus, I guess. That's pretty much it. And going all the way back to the beginning of season 1, communicators and all of that stuff. Other things about this season is some standouts would be Jason, like I said, the Missing Green episode. Once again, he destroys a monster single-handedly with his Zord before saving the rest of the team. Kimberly and Tommy destroy a monster with combining the Power Bow and the Dragon Dagger together. So that's just 2 members destroying a monster instead of the whole team. One of the episodes I really like, I mean, it's sad for Tommy, but again, a great Jason episode is when all of the team is taken captured besides Jason and Billy. Again, a good Billy episode. While Jason fights off the monsters, while Billy uses his intellect to get them out of the situation. So that was one of those episodes where it shows Jason and Billy being great members to the team, contributing something. And then as you get to Tommy becoming the White Ranger, because there's not a lot of White Ranger footage and just splicing everything, you notice how the team will go off and do their own thing, while he'll typically fight Goldar or someone else off to the side. So he'll be off doing his own thing. Then Bulk and Skull's subplot is they are trying to find out the identities of the Rangers this season. They are very much gone away from that bully persona now from season 1. I was just on Ranger Wiki before this, and the idea was they didn't want to have bully characters anymore because of it being an issue in schools in the 90s. But I definitely like Bulk and Skull being more of just this dim-witted comedy duo than bullies. Just because they're too funny and they're too likable in that sense where you don't want to have to root against them. So again, I enjoy their antics as the season goes on. It's interesting seeing how you had Zach's cousin Curtis come on in, and then the guy Richie that Trini had a crush on to be side characters, and then once Zach and Trini are gone from the show, these characters are just booted right there. So the guy that played Curtis actually did Zach's voice after Walter Jones was fired, so at least he got to collect a little bit more money on the side. But man, imagine you casted in a show as like supporting characters for the main characters, and because they got fired, you get fired by association, basically. So that is just funny how they're introduced. They're there for 10, 12 episodes, something about that, and then they're just quickly forgotten about. Another thing is just paying attention to details. It's pretty clear if you really want to pay attention that when Tommy came back to be the White Ranger, Jason was probably supposed to still be the leader. They probably changed that line after the fact in post-production, after filming, when doing all that ADR work. Because Zoran says, "Are you happy with the new leader of the power team?" And Jason goes, "This is great." Even though a couple episodes ago it was all about showing why he is a great leader. They must have been like, "Wow, okay, we just got rid of him in real life. Well, this is the perfect time for Tommy to be the leader." So it's funny how there's only 2 episodes after Tommy coming back as the White Ranger that you have Jason, Zach, and Trini actually presently there. But it's either, I think it's the last episode actually with Austin St. John on set, where he's the one that initiates its morphing time. So by that point, it's too little too late. They already used that to film it. But I think that right there shows that Jason was supposed to still be the leader, and Tommy was supposed to still probably be the side character, not the side character, the guy off to the side doing his own thing, like he was with the Green Ranger, being more of that outsider character than being part of the group. But definitely with him being part of the group as the leader, it's definitely difficult for them to work around that, him just being the 6th Ranger, the Sentai not matching, his Sentai counterpart not even being there that much. It just stinks that, as much as I love Tommy, that you had to put him in that leadership role, because he's always has to be off doing his own thing because of the footage that they have. But definitely the first couple episodes when he comes back as the White Ranger, he's off doing his own thing. They remix Go Green Ranger Go into Go White Ranger Go. You get the White Ranger Tiger Power song. So he gets basically two theme songs with Go Green Ranger Go, and then the one when he's the White Ranger, and then even remixing Go Green Ranger Go. That's like three if you want to count it that way. But still, I have a lot of fun watching just Tommy be leveled up so much. But the worst part is watching those 8 episodes after Austin St. John, Walter Jones, and Tree Trang are all fired, because just being an adult and knowing they're not there and them just splicing and cutting away and doing things constantly, it's rough to watch. It's really rough to watch them talk about the peace conference, wondering whose it's going to be, and then the ones who it is are just not even there. They're just constantly going to do something else. When you get to the power transfer, at least the best thing about that was when they get to that deserted planet, Jason got to fight Serpentera one-on-one for a little bit with his Zord, so at least he got to go out kind of doing something cool before they go away. But yeah, then you get to the power transfer, and you have Rocky, Adam, Aisha become the Rangers. And I like them. I think they get way too much hate by like older fans, like people who were there since day one. I think Adam's awesome. I definitely like his character just being more timid, lacking confidence, something he has to deal with in other episodes. He's not as confident as Zach, so there's a good change in personality there. Aisha, I feel like she gets the short end of the stick just because she's only there in Mighty Morphin, how she leaves before Zeo. We'll see if I notice anything as I watch it, but I feel like her character just never really got as much development. Felt like she was just kind of there. And then Rocky has a personality. It's just, I think it's the episode where Rocky just wants to have fun is where the character just gets so much hate just being that goofy. And I enjoy Rocky. I think, once again, when you get to Zeo, when he's the Blue Ranger, it lets him shine a bit more, being out of the shadow of being the second Red Ranger. And Steve Cardenas actually liked 2 of my lifting videos on Instagram like 9 years ago, so that's cool. So I enjoy Rocky. I think he's cool in his own right. It just stinks that you had to put him in the Red Ranger suit and have him follow up Jason. Especially at this point in time where Tommy's the leader. Tommy is the guy. And they didn't want to have a second the guy. So Rocky just is relegated to the background, which stinks for him. But I still enjoy Rocky for who he is. I just think he isn't given a fair chance. But yeah, those 8 episodes when Jason, Zach, and Trini are not actually there, and then you introduce Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, and you just have Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy hanging with those 3 new ones instead of the other 3, it just feels off. I don't know why they did that many episodes before just giving the new cast the powers, because they really stretch it, and it just feels really awkward. Still gotta enjoy that time with the fake background versions of Jason, Zach, and Trini that you can get. Because again, at least Jason you get in Zeo. But hey, that's the end for Trini. Right there, besides just, suit only appearances since Tree Trang passed away. And then Zach, at least he got Once and Always. But it's definitely just jarring how they just get booted from the show so easily. But yeah, season 2. Oh, another thing was the Dragon Zord. Yeah, goes away after the 4th episode. Tommy loses the ability to summon him. I was surprised it was that early. I could have sworn he still got to use him a little bit more in the season, but no. After the 4th episode, Dragon Zord's done. He comes back at the very end of Tommy being able to use the Green Ranger powers, but yeah, not a lot of Dragon Zord. I was shocked on how little he was used. And then when Tommy does destroy that monster, Zach takes a hose to spray at him. that was supposed to be the Mastodon, but because they didn't want to use the old Zords, they just had Zach take a hose. I don't know why they just couldn't use the actual footage of the Mastodon. It's an old toy, but come on, what, you don't have some old Megazord toys on shelf still you still want to use? I still find it funny how they had to use the Thunder Megazord every single time and splice that footage instead of just occasionally using the Dino Megazord, because they say they had to rebuild the Dino Megazords into the Thunder Zords, but then when they summon them, they're in their Dino mode. I know, I'm overthinking it way too much. So with that said, again, I'm about 30-something episodes in the Mighty Morphin Season 2. Again, the main thing is just going over more so the first half, enjoying the time we have with Jason, Zach, and Trini before they go. Going over that first half, like I said, the first quarter of episodes, that first 13, I think are amazing. Finishing up the Green Ranger stuff, using that Finder's Jude 2 footage. Again, you gotta splice it with the Die Ranger, so the Megazord fights are a bit wonky. But you get a lot of good, just in-suit action out of those episodes with the Rangers, while the Megazord fights are lackluster because of how they're edited. But still, those first 13 episodes are a lot of fun because of that. Then going into episodes 14 to 20 are still fantastic. Missing Green is, I think, one of the most standout episodes of the whole show for Jason. White Light of Tommy coming down, becoming the White Ranger is fantastic. It is funny though, the episode before White Light, I just gotta mention, Jason's not actually there, just he's in the suit. The episode when they take Kimberly hostage to be Zed's bride and they put her in the Rita costume, Jason's only in suit in that episode. So I wonder if there was any struggles going on around that time of filming where they're like, just get out of here, we're not going to use you for this one. So that does bug me. That single episode of those first 20 of the season, that's the one that kind of like bugs me, like, something's not right. But so those first 20 episodes is like my favorite batch of Mighty Morphin. The following 8, it's like hanging on to something that's about to die. I mean, it's already dead, but they're trying to fool you as a kid, right? And going into the second half, I think there's a drop. We'll see how I feel about it after I watch it. I feel like season 3 picks up, and then I feel like the new cast gets to shine a little bit more. I think it helps when they get the Ninja Megazord in season 3, because at least you don't associate that with the original cast. Again, it's just hard having Rocky, Adam, and Aisha be the ones saying Saber-toothed Tiger, Mastodon, Tyrannosaurus, summoning the Thunder Megazord, when it's like, it feels wrong, because that should be Jason, Zach, and Trini. And I think when you have them get the Ninja Megazord in season 3, and that's when they're shouting Black Ranger power, Yellow Ranger power, Red Ranger power, I think it just feels better. And then, like I said, in Zeo, Rocky definitely gets to go into his own a lot more. And Adam is one of my favorites anyways, but same thing, just giving him his own suit and everything lets him stand out more. But yeah, season 2, it's hard to judge as a whole, because there's just so much happening, so many like sections of the season. To judge all those 52 episodes on a whole, you can't really do, because that first quarter of the show is much different by the end. And you're definitely going to have a preference on what part you like more, depending on which batch of characters you like more. But still enjoying it.